prime creator of all that is. We are, and here we are, finding ourselves in a quiet space of connectedness. When there is frenzy all around, this space we are in, right here, right now, gives us respite from the crazy or the mental madness. Pause and breathing in brings us back to source. For it is source that is our beginning and our familiar home. Consider we are tethered to that sacred place, that we are free to go, to roam as far afield and as amok as we choose, but our tether is our lifeline. When we roam too far, when influences are not in alignment with from whence we came, doesn't it make sense that when we find ourselves in struggle, emotional pain, even addiction, what we are really needing to realize is that our sacred space is too far away, too intangible, too forgotten, that we need to remember our tether, our connection to the one prime source creator that imagined us into the all of existence. Thank you, God Creator. Thank you for who we are. Thank you for the breath that reminds us that we are of you and you of us in this truly divine and perfect creation with every imaginable and unimaginable permutation. True freedom is knowing that our stretching the limits and its consequences, sometimes seemingly unbearable or futile, is really the path to home, that we are free to go far out and away so long as we remember our tether, our connection that is ever present. It only takes the thought to pull us back to alignment with the beautiful being that was created by the One. That is us. Let it be so, and so it is.
Hello, my name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. A new step for our Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. Sheriffs, full colon. Every office of sheriff is occupied by a person, not one of the people. What does that mean? If I need to explain the legal fiction that is going on with the deception of the Oregon State Bar, you are too ignorant to hold a position of honor. If you need an attorney to explain law to you, you are too ignorant for a position of trust. It is your responsibility for your knowledge of law. Each sheriff and each deputy must read and comprehend the Oregon Constitution circa 1859 and the United States of America's Constitution circa 1859, together with Bouvier's Law Dictionary 6th edition 2-volume 1856 for definitions. They have all failed. Addressing the 9 offices of sheriff that we have specifically notified. Then our grand jury brought forth true bills. There was an Amendment 7 Article 3 trial with the jury verdict that was done in public in front of the Marion County Courthouse. Each of the counties were posted on their county bulletin boards with their verdict and a proper oath for 30 days. Then we repeated it for another 30 days. Each office of sheriff of those 9 were served twice with the proper instruments. The Oregon State Sheriff's Association has been served with our notices several times since 2017. That association has failed repeatedly. Only 2 out of the 9 met with our court. Each county recorder was queried about the documents required for a sheriff to occupy the office of sheriff. Not one of the 9 passed the audits required by ORS 206, DPSST, county HR and recorder, the oath and bondability, of the laws of nature and nature's God included, Yamhill County has been notified. The office of their commissioners has acknowledged Sam Elliott does not have his proper bona fides. That is a next solid step. And I yield.
My name is Brandon Wingerter, Deputy Clerk of Court on Marion County with the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly, Article 3, Amendment 7, Civilian Court of Record. Where are our sheriffs? For the last several months, we have posted and made available what we worked on as a proper oath for the persons in our governance. Sheriffs are our first effort at our insisting on a proper oath, for it is the sheriffs who are here in their county positioned to protect and defend the people. Protect from what? Some might say from ticketing or sending people to the illegitimate amended Article 7 courts that should not be. From governance overreach and taxation that they should assist seniors in the prevention of their eviction from their loss of equity, their forever home, and all they possess. Our Article 3, Amendment 7, Civilian Common Law Court of Record has made numerous visits and relentless communications to our county sheriffs on Oregon to offer a remedy from victimization of the people. How, you might ask? It's like a shift in the mind. It is the recognition of one's allegiance to life and that which is God-given. Rather than criminalizing living God-made beings for a dead corporate entity, our sheriffs are our first protection against governance overreach. The significance of elected government officials taking a proper oath to the original jurisdiction, Constitution, circa 1859, is a tremendous recognition. The oath, then, is a promise to our God self, to our Creator God, and to people, not persons. Such a degeneration, taking a solemn oath, is needed for there to be remedy in our authoritative system of governance. Once a sheriff can make the shift, they can see themselves among the people rather than a corporate entity meant to enforce our compliance to the bidding of the state. This cognition promises to be a release of tension, greater freedom, and cooperation. Let it be so.
Hello, my name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. Take heed, State of Oregon, aka all caps State of Oregon, agents and assigns are de facto RICO color of law subdivisions of the United States of Washington, District of Columbia, Inc., and what's left of their 10-mile square. People are going to do what they may do to maintain their ubication within a specific hierarchy. Pariah comes to mind, also Quisling from another perspective. Absolutely, there are enemies within on Oregon, mostly out of all cap Article 7 amended, without proper oath and bondability. This is a public records demand from our Article 3, one Supreme Court claiming original jurisdiction, Article 7. Amendment 7, Civilian Common Law Court of Record. Provide your bona fides. Gladys Seralta, U.S. Marshal Service. Jacob K. Brudd, U.S. Marshal Service. This information is required by your job description, requirements, and obligations. Your predecessors all failed, from former Oregon Sheriff U.S. Marshal Berger through Mark and Carl. I filed a claim with Maurice Harmon, U.S. DOJ Marshal Services Internal Affairs. When all the levers of power from the Salem oligarchy are operated by rugby players, the outcome will be different than if operated by soccer players or footballers or tennis anyone. The hierarchy in this cause is Article 1, Section 1, the Jural Social Compact, our provisional government on Oregon, without rebuttal from 36 sheriffs, 38 prosecutors, ODJ, AG, DOC, OSP, 89 legislators, 2 governors, 2 senators, 1 House rep, U.S. DOJ, U.S. Marshal Services, FBI, Department of Homeland Security, GSA, U.S. Marine Corps, U.S. Post Office, U.S. Coast Guard, SCOTUS, U.S. Court of International Trade, and U.S. Secretary of State, Bureau of Western Hemisphere Affairs for the last 7 years. Natural rights inherent in people. We declare that all men, when they form a social compact, are equal in right, that all power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their peace, safety, and happiness, and they have at all times the right to alter, reform, or abolish the government in such manner as they may think proper. Those that see or hear this take note. We are fortunate when we can think and act in an honorable fashion. If it is not honorable, at least not dishonorable. Tell the truth, at least don't lie. Don't compromise with de facto. It is illegal or illegitimate. Cooperate with all lawful ORS. Look to enforce the good ones, such as 5 years of constitutional education starting no later than the 8th grade. And ORS 206, the requirements for sheriff. When a good de facto is found, look for a way to include a jure replacement. When an unlawful one is found, nullify it, such as the exoneration of the Oregon State Police that did murder Lavoie. Many of us see this as a wonderful opportunity to start over. From this moment on, no more lying, cheating, or stealing. Just quit that, and do not abide those that do. It is mindset and the 4 agreements. Do your best. When you cannot do that, leave, resign, get another function, do that someplace else. You're not acceptable here. Each adult is required to comprehend the basic minimums or pass on voting and holding a position of trust. They would not comprehend honor and trust. Pragmatic persons are here. Others are here also. Number 1, Oregon's Constitution, circa 1859. Number 2, the United States of America's Constitution, circa 1859. Number 3, with Bouvier's Law Dictionary, 6th edition, 2 volumes, 1856, governing law and a dictionary for definitions. Only 11 out of the 36 sheriffs have demonstrated a pushback on the Salem Brown Kotek Social Democrat RICO oligarchy. Each of our sheriffs will abide by ORS 206, even unto the county removing them from office. Sam is first in line on that one. Self-correct, Sam. Yamhill County knows that Article 7 amended is bogus. They did not honor a writ of habeas corpus ad subjiciendum, and that is a huge due process violation. Sam does not have his bona fides in order at this time, July 22, 2025, and that's another huge due process violation. Multnomah, Washington, Clackamas, Marion, Lynn, Lane, Douglas, and so forth are vying to be next in line, as they and others are equal in time. Several offices of sheriff and the Oregon State Police have papers filed and a court award for violations. They also are without bona fides. ODOC has a failure of our writ of habeas corpus ad subjiciendum. They have a de facto Article 7 amended mindset, soon to become accessories after the fact, and join the executive Brown Kotek legislative 89 out of 90 and judiciary that acquiesced and defaulted in November 2022. That brings us to the Oregon National Guard and the Oregon State Police. Our National Guard General and the Superintendent of the Oregon State Police are without proper bona fides. They were both appointed by TINA. Are a deputy DA, a deputy sheriff, and a deputy secretary of state without proper bona fides if the principal is in violation of our Constitution's ORS, DPSST, original jurisdiction Article 7, county requirements, oath and bondability, the laws of nature and nature's God included? We need this information soonest. Our court will be requiring the services of a marshal on Oregon from your office. And I close this with living testimony in the form of an affidavit of truth and it's complete. I'll ask William to show it on the screen. And I yield. Hello, my name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. On Oregon, it is a reality. Matthew Deedy and others violated our statehood when he wrote, and they had published in 2 books, The Lie, Amendment 13 XIII, Anti-Title of Nobility Act 1819, was not valid. And the amendment was not part of our statehood documents. Fraud upon the people on Oregon. Then Oregon went down the federal de facto form of Liber Code martial law. Oregon, the 33rd and last state of the United States of America of the Confederation and Perpetual Union. Take a look at the names of our counties. Army generals. That is the first known deception, the fraud. Read the Constitution of Nevada. You will see immediately it is not a state among the several states. Neither are the other 17 territories. This is de facto color of law, fraud, perpetrated by the attorneys of that era, coupled with the U.S. Army under Lincoln. Then Grant was elected, and we have had this fraud since then, March 1861, from the United States District of Columbia, Inc., and what's left of their 10-mile square. Lincoln was assassinated, and the new Amendment 13 and 14 on the South Reconstruction as a benevolent martial law form that recently turned malevolent when they implemented COVID. COVID, anyone? Fruit from the poisonous tree. Ex parte Milligan from Indiana is the release mechanism for the states to nullify martial law, Lieber Code, FEMA. We did this on Oregon in 2018. I saw a presentation. The Illinois State Bar sent out emissaries to all of the states starting in 1906. Their job was to flip the several states, 33, of our Confederation and Perpetual Union into subdivisions of the United States of Washington District of Columbia, Inc. They flipped Oregon November 8th, 1910, with Article 7 amended. That was what they used on Oregon. It was implemented through Frank Benson. He was Secretary of State and Governor at the same time, a constitutional impossibility. This caused the de facto switch on Oregon. There was a jure form of government, unsullied by fraud, with original jurisdiction Article 7, a constitutional civilian common law court of record. Article 3, one Supreme Court on Oregon, claiming original jurisdiction, found in Amendment 7, in suits in common law. In suits in common law, whose verdict has no appeal in fact, when seeking remedy against the state. We flipped Oregon back in November 2022. We are no longer deceived. It has been acquiesced and defaulted to, found with true bills from our grand jury and verdicts from our trial juries who decide the facts. Amendment 7 and our civilian common law court of record, Article 3, determine the law. Law is Oregon's Constitution, circa 1859, and the United States of America's Constitution, circa 1859, with Bouvier's Law Dictionary, 6th edition, 2 volumes, 1856, 4 definitions. There is no evidence that Article 7 amended was or is lawful. Everything that is an addition to our Constitution must be supported with evidence. There is no one from the state of Oregon, aka all cap state of Oregon, Salem oligarchy, of Kate Brown, Ron Wyden, Jeff Merkley, Tina Kotek, Suzanne Bonamici, Peter Courtney, that era, at the end of the benevolent law form, the benevolent martial law form. And it morphed into the current malevolent form of martial law, Labor Code, FEMA, Department of Defense, Deep State, UN, World Health Organization, except on Oregon. Ex parte Milligan was implemented on Oregon in 2018. There cannot be a martial law court on Oregon as there is an Article 3, Amendment 7 Civilian Common Law Court of Record on Oregon. That is a fact. There is no Article 7 judges on Oregon, nor are there any other Article 3 courts on Oregon. Are there any proper courts with proper oaths and bondability to the laws of nature and nature's God included? Wally Carson was aware of this. Proper constitutions are required. We have 36 offices of sheriffs supplying court staff, bailiffs, to the de facto Article 7 amended Color of Law Incorporated for-profit bogus court system. A judiciary, one that acquiesced and defaulted November 2022. The de facto Oregon State Bar must be removed. There will be law, not color of law, on Oregon. We can actually read what it is, and that's what will be enforced. The office of sheriff will be occupied by one of us that fulfills the actual requirements of ORS 206, DPSST, County HR and Recorder, with a proper oath to the correct constitutions, with bondability to the laws of nature and nature's God included. Our sheriffs will be honorable, and it follows the sheriff's deputies will be also. The court bailiff staff and the jail staff and patrol, and with the Oregon National Guard Provost Office. And I yield.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying. Then he jumps out of the car, and he's got both his hands up. And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, to shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.